Welcome to the implementation setup and training for ATS user roles and user maintenance. Please log into your site and follow along with the training today. Pause the video as needed to take the time to start setting up your system. Once you have completed video training sessions, you will meet with your implementation manager and review the configurations you have set up, as well as answer any questions you may have. Once logged in, click Administration in the menu and click User Roles in the Admin menu on the left side of the screen. User roles are used to identify the access rights of each user in the system. User roles can limit the amount of information a user can see or do in the ATS. By default, your system will come with 4 user roles. The contact-only user is a role given to individuals who do not need to log into the system, but will need to receive links to applications or possibly be part of an interview. Job Rec Override is if you have a requisition process in place. Reports access is given to someone who needs access to only reports within the ATS. System Administrator will be someone with access to all parts of the applicant tracking system. This is automatically given to the admin working with the implementation manager. There are additional user roles that may need added into the system, such as a role for your hiring managers. To add a new custom role, click the Add User Role button. Enter the name of the role you are creating. You may use a cross-reference code, but this would mainly be for your purposes. We do also suggest entering in a description. Now let's scroll down and talk about the user permissions. These are broken into categories. The first few categories relate to actions or items that a user can do in each of these sections of the ATS. Administration, reports, candidate pool, and job listing permissions. After that, there are additional permissions that pertain to offer letters, candidate workflows, job requisitions, and then just general system-wide permissions. Each permission can be toggled on or off based on your preference for that role. A brief description of that role can be found by hovering over the question mark. The permission of a section will need to be turned on for that user to have access to other additional permissions given in that section. Let's take a look at an example. In the Reports section, for example, you will need to toggle on Enable Reports Access before any of the reports you have toggled on for that role will be given. Once the permissions for the role are determined, click Save Changes. These roles and permissions can be updated at any time. It is important to note that best practice is that a user should only be assigned to one role. Therefore, there will need to be a role created for each combination of permissions to be given to any user. Let's navigate to user maintenance. This is where you will create and maintain your users in the ATS. There are two ways to get new users into the ATS. You may manually add them using the Add User button, or you may import a list of users. Today, we will cover manual creation of a user. If you have a large number of users to be added to the system, please work with your implementation manager to complete the import rather than manually creating them all. To create a new user, click the Add User button. Use the individual's email address for both their username as well as their email address. If they do not have an email address, make sure the username is unique, as it must be unique amongst our entire client base. If they don't have an email, we recommend your company name being part of the username. For example, bsmith@Forefront Construction. Enter the first name, last name, and scroll down to select the user role your individual should have. Remember, only select one role for this person. If you have created a custom role, it will be listed here as well with a toggle to turn on for your user. Additional system responsibilities can be set up if needed, and your implementation manager will work with you if you are using the features of the system where these are required. Lastly, set the job notification preference for this user. If this individual is assigned to a job, they will receive notifications of the applicants based on the frequency you choose here. They can receive the notifications weekly, daily, for every applicant, or if they will be logging in on a daily basis to check, they can set to Don't Notify. The most common choice selected here is Daily Summary. Once you have finished setting up these configurations for the user, click Save Changes. The user maintenance area is also where you can manage current users of the system. In the Action column, use the pencil icon to edit the user's profile. This can include editing their username, email address, or notification preferences. Click the trash can icon to deactivate a user who should no longer have access to the ATS. In general, in your ATS, at the top of the screen, you will be able to use a toggle to view deactivated items, including here. This toggle would then display for you your deactivated users. This concludes the training on user roles and user maintenance. If you are in implementation, your implementation manager will review this with you and cover your questions. If you are not in implementation, please direct your questions to your account manager or the customer care team.